Welcome to an overview of Greek mythology. In this, we'll go over the major players in Greek mythology, the gods who lived on Olympus. In the beginning, there was nothing but chaos. But out of that chaos was formed Uranus the sky and Gaia the earth. These two united together and began to have children, the Titans. One of these Titans, Cronus, was envious of his father and separated heaven and earth so that he could rule over the rest of creation. As king of the Titans, Cronus married his sister, Rhea, and made her his queen. Rhea began to have children, but Cronus heard a prophecy that one of his children would overthrow him, like he overthrew his father. Cronus began eating his babies, hoping that it would prevent his eventual destruction. Once Cronus was done, he left, but Rhea still had one more baby, which she hid away. Secretly, without Cronus knowing, Rhea took care of their only remaining child, a boy she called Zeus. After his mother's care, Zeus eventually grew into godhood and gained the powers he would need to challenge his father Cronus. Striking him, Zeus made his father vomit out his 5 siblings, who were now all fully grown. With Zeus's brothers and sisters free, they went to war against the Titans. It was a long and hard war, and eventually Zeus had to face off against his father, Cronus. Cronus wasn't easy to beat, but with his trusty lightning bolt, Zeus smacked his father Cronus and sent him and the Titans down into the depths of the underworld, called Tartarus. Having defeated the Titans, the gods made their home on Mount Olympus and divvied up the world amongst themselves, with Zeus as king. Zeus is the king of the gods and god of the sky. He's the father of many gods and uses a lightning bolt as his weapon. Hera, Zeus's wife and queen of the gods, is known for getting mad when Zeus cheats on her. Poseidon, with his short temper, is the god of the sea, earthquakes, and, horses. Hades is the god of the underworld, the dead, and precious minerals. Whoever said you can't take your treasures with you when you die? Demeter is the goddess of the harvest and causes things to grow. She has a daughter named Persephone. But she was stolen away, causing Demeter to go frantic. Hades had taken her away and made her his queen of the underworld. Demeter found out and demanded her daughter back. She only got her back for half the year, though. The rest of the year she refused to let anything grow, which is what we call winter. It just goes to show that if you anger your mother-in-law, especially if she happens to be your sister, you can turn your life into a living, well, you know. Apollo and Artemis are twin gods. Apollo is the god of the sun, music, art, and prophecy. Artemis is the goddess of the moon, the hunt, and virginity. She once asked her father Zeus for eternal virginity. Like any good father, he agreed. But Zeus's promise was put to the test several times, and she had to fend for herself. In the end, that's probably why she was such a great shot with her bow and arrow, honing her skills as a hunter. Hermes is the god of messengers and travelers, and is a trickster god. Once, as a baby, he played a trick on Apollo, who was tending his cows. Apollo called Zeus for help, who then called Hermes. Hermes explained to his father what he did, which gave Zeus a good laugh. He then made Hermes give back the cows, saying no harm had been done. Hermes also gave Apollo a lyre as a token of his goodwill. Apollo loved his gift and played for his cow. Hephaestus is the god of the forge and of crafts, and makes Zeus's lightning bolts. As an ugly cripple, his mom had pity on him and gave him Aphrodite, the goddess of beauty, for a wife. Despite being the goddess of love, she held none for her ugly husband. Instead, she fancied the passionate god of war, Ares. They had many clandestine meetings together. Hephaestus once spied them making out and made a divine net in order to trap them. Then he showed them to the other gods, who laughed at their predicament. One day, Zeus was having a splitting headache, so he called his son Hephaestus to help him. Hephaestus used one of his axes to cleave open Zeus's head. Out of Zeus's head came a fully grown daughter, Athena, the goddess of wisdom. Athena soon got into a competition with Poseidon to see who would be the patron god of a new city. The people voted for the goddess of wisdom. When Poseidon found out, he was furious and sent a wave from the sea to punish them. The people then knew they had made the right choice and called this city Athens. One of the 12 gods on Olympus was Hestian, the goddess of the hearth who took care of the Olympic flame in their home. But the gods wanted more excitement on Olympus, so they brought in Dionysus, the god of wine. Dionysus livened things up with parties and drunkenness. Soon, Hestia was pushed aside and forgotten. In many versions of mythology, Dionysus was the 12th god on Olympus and not Hestia. Now you may be wondering what any of these stories can teach us in this day and age. There are many things we can learn from these stories, and I'm not going to go over them all, but here are a few things you can take away from them. The first is about gender roles that have pervaded societies throughout history and continue today. Male gods like Zeus often represented forces of nature like thunder, lightning, storms, and things like that, whereas female gods like Hera often represented feminine virtues of love and marriage. Even among the gods, males were clearly dominant and were expected to romantically pursue anything that even looked female. But with the exception of Aphrodite, females were expected to stay true to their vows. Yet for the men, making them break their vows was just another challenge. Either they had to defend themselves or they were taken against their own will. It's a sad double standard that continues even today. So, you may ask, where are they now? These gods and the ideals they represent have been recycled throughout history. These versions of events were created by the Greeks and organized by storytellers like Hesiod and Homer. Then, when the Romans conquered the Greeks, they adopted their gods, gave them different names, and created some of their own. When the Romans adopted Christianity, in order to help the transition between religions, some of the old gods' functions were replaced by saints from Christian history. For example, Peter is the patron saint of fishermen. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this overview of Greek mythology and feel a lot more educated. Thank you for watching.